resilience. So resilience is accepting your new reality, even if it's less good than the one you had before. You can fight it. You can do nothing but scream about what you've lost, or you can accept that and try to put together something that is good. So I think this is a great approach to resilience, that it's all about accepting what's happening and accepting the new reality. And sometimes that new reality might, in your mind, might not be as good as the one before, because you have to change and you have to adapt. And maybe it was a negative circumstance or a stressful situation or an adverse event that you're going through. So maybe that new reality isn't less good, but it doesn't help to fight it and scream about it. But what you need to do is accept it. And then also try to see something good in it. Try to identify something positive, something good, something that you can benefit from, something that you can learn from that circumstance. That is what resilience is all about. We're going to talk about different aspects of that. So positive thinking and reframing. This is an important strategy for resilience. And it develops a nice cycle, right? When you have positive thinking, that allows you to reframe things that might be negative, but you reframe them into something positive. And that ability to reframe negative circumstances into something positive and finding the good in it allows you to stay optimistic. And then when you have optimism, that allows you to maintain positive thinking, and it creates a nice positive cycle where the positive thinking allows you to have good reframing skills to see the positive, and that makes you optimistic, and then that gives you more positive thinking. So I think this is very important to maintain resilience. So we all have different experiences in our life. Some are positive, some are negative, and all these experiences really affect our thinking and affect our approach to our life. Unfortunately, sometimes we have negative experiences, and these negative experiences can then really cause a pessimistic outlook and pessimistic thinking. It can drive negative emotions. It could shape negative actions, and it could influence negative outcomes. So we have to be aware of these, the effect that negative experiences have on us then. And we all have a negativity bias. We all know this, right? We all have negative experiences, and that we remember them much more vividly in our memories than any positive experience. So we all have this negative bias, and we know that negativity begets negativity, and that can become and lead to thinking that is irrational and persistent and even destructive. We also know that it takes at least 5 positive actions to overcome one negative action. So again, we have to try to see things in a positive way and reframe things in a positive way, because when we keep thinking of things as negative and we see things as negative, and we fall victim to our negativity bias, then it's hard to break out of that. And like it says, we have to many times have 5 positive actions to overcome that one negative action. Okay, so reframing. What is the process of reframing? So basically, that means that you have to learn to correctly identify your negative thinking. Then you have to answer that negative thinking back, and you got to refute that negative thinking, right? And then you reframe the negative by focusing on the positive, right? So first, you got to identify that, okay, I'm having negative thoughts right now. I got to stop that. I can't be thinking negative thoughts. But let me think of something positive, and then you reframe the negative by focusing on something positive and finding something positive in that circumstance. So reframing allows you to correctly identify that negative thinking, answer that negative thinking back, and refute that negative thinking. And reframing the negative by focusing on the positive. Reframing these negative thoughts gives us the power to reverse that cycle away from the negative outcomes and more toward positive outcomes. So we got to break that cycle of negative thinking and refute that negative thinking and start thinking more positive and look for the positive, look for the good in that circumstance, and reframe that negative into something positive. So it doesn't mean that we convince ourselves that a bad experience was good, right? It just means that you consider the situation and look at it from a different perspective or a different angle, and try to look at it from the positive and try to find something positive in that bad experience. So when we reframe the negative, we basically are searching for opportunity in the midst of that adversity to extract some positive meaning from that adversity, from that tragedy. And when we're able to do that, we can actually really learn and grow from that experience. So when we find something positive, we find something meaningful out of a negative experience, it allows us to grow. It allows us to develop different skills. It allows us to gain from that experience and maybe share that experience with others and benefit others from what we have learned from that negative experience that we might have been going through. So again, the process of reframing is you analyze the negative outcomes, specifically looking at your personal thoughts and your feelings and the actions that shape that outcome. You recognize and label those negative thoughts as distorted and that they need to change. And then you seek alternative perspective. You look through an alternative lens and a positive perspective to achieve healthier thoughts. And then you affirm these thoughts until those previous negative thoughts are refuted and the feelings and behaviors and outcomes begin to change. So reframing means that you are flexible, and resilient people are also flexible. They know when to accept that which cannot be changed. They positively reframe life's challenges and they regulate their emotions. So part of resilience and part of reframing is being flexible and changing your view, changing your perspective, knowing what you can change, knowing what you can't change, and accepting that then. So when you are resilient, you are flexible in the way that you think about challenges, and you're flexible in the way that you react from an emotional perspective to those different stresses. So you accept what cannot be changed, and you learn from failure. You grow from setbacks. You learn and grow from adversity and stressful situations. And you use negative emotions like grief and anger, and you turn them into positives, and you fuel compassion and courage and those emotions instead. And again, you search for meaning and opportunity in that adversity. And that really enhances resilience then. So reframing allows you to accept things. And acceptance really enhances your resilience. So part of resilience and positive thinking and reframing is being flexible and then being accepting of the things that are changing. And this acceptance allows you to tolerate highly stressful situations. Acceptance is not the same as resignation and doesn't involve giving up or quitting. Acceptance is based on realistic appraisal and active decision making. So you kind of reflect on the situation and you appraise and assess the situation and you make an active decision about, okay, can I do something about this? And if I can, let me try doing that. But if I can't do anything about it, let me just be flexible. Let me accept what's happening, and that can help really enhance resilience. Then I like this quote: "Acceptance is the peace that comes with letting life happen without forcing it." Right? So many times, we want things to go a certain way, and we're forcing things to go a certain way, and that adds stress and anxiety, and we expend a lot of energy. Right? This is saying, you know what? Acceptance allows you to have some peace with what's happening in your life. Whatever happens for a reason, and you just kind of go with it. And you don't force it. You just accept it, and that will really help preventing a burnout then.